What's up guys, it's Ajax, AJ in 4K, back with another review today, and we're going to be checking out Drake's 11th studio album, HABIBTI. This album is the third and final installment in the ICEMAN trilogy, and sees Drake continuing in that laid-back, atmospheric R&B sound he helped pioneer. The album was surprise released along with Maid of Honor, and had zero promotion at all, not even a single in the ICEMAN trailers. Now, I covered the other surprise release along with the ICEMAN in my last two videos, but today I wanted to ask, does HABIBTI show that Drake is lazily imitating a sound he once helped to pioneer? Now, Drake is an artist that really needs no introduction, and if you want one, you can go check out the first minute or so of my Maid of Honor review. The most important thing to understand about this album in the trilogy is that Drake pioneered the spacious R&B sound of the 2010s with 2011's Take Care, which was a departure from his previous roots in hip-hop and would obviously dictate the direction of R&B going forward. Since then, he'll switch in and out of hip-hop and R&B, and blended the two genres for the last 2 decades, most noticeably in projects like Scorpion and Views. However, since the start of the 2010s, the public outlook has progressively soured on the music he's been putting out. Drake stands will go crazy for albums like Certified Lover Boy or Honestly Nevermind, but critics have started to notice the laziness and low effort from Drake that, to me, makes him a supremely boring artist. This trilogy also follows the Kendrick Lamar beef in 2024 that saw Drake called a and publicly humiliated at Kia Forum with Kendrick's pop-out. This is important to this video as well as the last because following this beef, he then tucked himself away in his hidey hole, relishing in the comfort of his low-effort R&B sound and leaning on the likes of Party Next Door to make his last project interesting. Now, that album was one of my least favorites from last year. You can see why in my top albums of 2025 video. However, as you've seen with my reviews of the last 2 albums, I do think that in this trilogy, Drake is showing some of his most effort this decade. So let's see if that's the case for this album as well. The first song, Rusty Intro, starts out almost like a Frank Ocean song, with Drake honestly putting some effort into the singing delivery, which sounds very good. I wish he put effort like this into this delivery more often. The acoustic guitar also fits perfectly for the intimateness this song is supposed to portray. The breakdown with the drums is very fun, and obviously I love that DJ Frisco 954 producer tag. Then it picks back up again with the guitars and Drake putting some effort into his singing. The lyricism is classic Drake, R&B, lovey-dovey nonsense, but the song cuts itself way too short at a minute long for an awkward transition into WNBA. WNBA is that classic spacious Drake R&B, and I mean including the low effort. It starts with the annoying nasally vocal delivery with a flow that doesn't quite fit this atmospheric beat, and then it transitions into a Certified Lover Boy era song. This includes the low effort rap R&B delivery with simple drums and chorus synth and not much interesting beyond that. I want to say that he probably thinks what he is making here is very intimate like his previous successes, but in my opinion it's just a low effort facade in music form. The lyrics are once again classic Drake, using sports metaphors to describe his ongoing relationships with his pick of the crop. I mean, what's new with the man? Obviously not much. This song is very lazy and generic and awkwardly transitions into another lazy and generic cut in the form of Slap the City, with that classic wash sample sound Drake loves to use for his atmospheres. The drums keep me interested for a total of 20 seconds, with some interesting sound effects and Quindressa's vocals to save the day after about a minute. And then there's another beat switch which shows up so many times on this trilogy it's not even worth counting. Again, dude, this shit is already so boring. It's just about Drake managing multiple women again. Like, get a new flex, my lord. At least this transitions into the sample that starts High Fives, which is a voicemail that turns into a chipmunk sample beat before EDM riser drums, which really don't work with the basic pop drums that follow. Also, Drake has fully given into the annoying ass fake emotional nose delivery, and it drives me crazy. I mean, I just need Drake to get new lyrics because I can only listen to him talk about fucking women for so long. I'm already tired of it with 14 songs from Maid of Honor and a couple of songs on ICEMAN. Like, I don't need it here. I mean, I just wish he would do the R&B sound with new ideas instead of falling into his old lanes. The song ends on a spacious note to tee up an okay transition into Her Not There, the sexy Red collab that follows up that on the pilot of this trilogy. And I want to say, I find her raspy and intimate delivery here way more appealing than the annoying predecessor to this. The song is again spacious with cold synthesizer chorus section and some simple drums. Nothing new like at all. It's like Drake biting his own flow, to be honest. And again, the effort is non-existent, but hey, what's new? At least it's a flat, no range delivery, so no nasally singing. The lyrics are again nonsensical generic shit that doesn't mean anything to the 2 vocalists here or anyone in the world, like surface level loyalty and partying. Next up is I'm Spent with Low Shimmy, and I like the 70s-esque synths that wash over you and start off the beat, and then again it turns into a spacious R&B cut with simple drums. At least they're more reverby than flat on this song, unlike others on the album. And god, I've listened to too much Drake in this trilogy, but I just truly can't stand this man as a fucking and vocalist. I like the tape deck transition into classic, which starts with some fun synths and sample flourishes before breaking down into again another spacious R&B cut. I mean, I hate to be harsh, but song 7, my decision's made. And to be honest, there isn't much of anything here. I mean, I can't believe we're 7 songs in. It feels like we haven't even made it through 1. I mean, at least Drake's singing delivery is more tolerable and passionate here before the song breaks into a Ye Bully style beat. And it's weird because no one raps or anything over this second half of the beat, so it really does just sound like an unfinished Bully cut. And again, the lyrics are surface level R&B, if even touching surface level Drake. This has a radio cue-esque transition into Gen 5, which again is an atmospheric cut with simple drums and nothing interesting. I hate the cringy ass lines on this song, specifically the line about might finally get you your Christmas gift by Valentine's. And then he's just talking about getting G-Wagons for Christmas. Like, dude, can you not only be more unrelatable, but also low effort? I forgot to mention his annoying ass half rap, half singing energy, which he delivers through his nose again. Then we transition into White Bone, which has some nice synth piano to start, as well as some interesting glitchy drums and vocal samples. However, it very quickly turns to same old spacious beats, simple drums. And to add to this, Drake's singing delivery is annoying as fuck because there seriously is not a single ounce of effort behind this song. And to add to all of this, the song goes on for 4 fucking minutes, which by the end will have you wanting to tear your hair out. From this point on, I'm gonna ignore lyricism because it's the same thing you've seen on every track previous. Maid of Honor type lyrics, but more focus on the sex than the drugs and partying this time. The song dies out into 5 seconds of silence, and then transitions into Fort Worth with some cringy ass bars and the most annoying delivery Drake has portrayed across all 3 projects released. The beat is a whole lot of nothing, literally, like just some guitar chords to make an atmosphere. Party Next Door comes in here not to save the song, but to reinforce its lazy nature, and I just never want to hear this track again. Then we finally get to the closer, Prioritizing, and thank God this album is only 11 tracks long. The song again feels so out of place anywhere in this trilogy, like Drake was trying to get a song in the soundtrack for Subnautica 2. No, seriously though, why does it sound like science fiction underwater when this whole album has been tracks that exist of like nothing? And I mean, dude, the delivery here is just beyond freaking painful. It's killing me, and he's so lazy, and the auto-tune does not save it in the slightest. Cringy bars galore as well. I'm not even gonna try and name them off. It's kind of fucking insane. My lord, what a way to top off this mess. And so, do I think that Drake is capitalizing off of a sound he once helped pioneer? Yes. The man put no effort in here, not very dissimilar from last year's project with Party Next Door. And I mean, the worst part to me is that last year's project has already gone platinum. No work was put in here production-wise, delivery-wise, writing-wise, arrangement-wise. I honestly can't think of anywhere anyone who touched this album in any meaningful capacity put in any effort. I mean, I don't think there's much more to say beyond that. This album was a whole lot of nothing, which seems to be the theme with Drake's latest output, minus the first 2 cuts in this trilogy, obviously. And so where do I rank this album in the trilogy? Worst. And so where do I rank this album in projects released this year? Worst. Yes, even worse than Bully. And I mean, for that reason, I gotta give this album a 6%, an F- on my scale. Now, for my thoughts on the trilogy. First, why did Drake release the albums in this order? The simple, obvious answer to me is the best. You just put them out from best to worst. You keep the critics invested for so long, and I mean, his fans will really listen to anything he puts out. I thought Maid of Honor was the best of the trilogy. I didn't think ICEMAN was very far behind, but this album, on the other hand, is definitively worse than the other 2. The other answer to release order is the acronym. When looking at an artist's streaming page, it displays the albums from most recent to oldest. Therefore, when you looked at Drake's page after the release of the trilogy, the first 3 letters of each album spelled out him. Cringy, I know. Do I think that the surprise albums in this trilogy were lazy drops to spite UMG? Maybe a little bit, but Maid of Honor obviously had some passion behind it. And paired with Iceman, this is some of the best effort I've seen from Drake this decade. It's just unfortunate that this slop doesn't match the tempo of the other 2. But I also don't have another explanation as to why Drake would put out a trilogy like this. He could have just as easily taken all 3 albums and cut them down into a unique piece of music that would have been a genuine experience. But hey, at least the surprise drop was cool. Did you agree with my rank? Do you think that this sound proves that Drake has become stale in a genre which he once helped pioneer? Are his musical ventures as of recently the best music he's put out this decade? Argue me in the comments below. If you're looking for my thoughts on the other 2 albums in this trilogy, don't worry, you can find them on my channel page or at the playlist linked in the description below. Please check out the art I've been doing. The link to my Instagram portfolio is in the description, and I have a couple art showcase shorts as well as full-length explanations on my channel here. The last song I made is also in the description, so please feel free to check that out. Finally, please check out my last review on Ye's Bully, or my top 5 albums of 2025. I put a shit ton of work into those videos and I would really appreciate it. And until next time, guys, be easy.